Moorish assassin, anonymous in the building. All Moroccans. What? Think I fell off or fell out, but when I yell out, I ain't afraid to tell the sellouts to get the hell out of the temple. You defile your temple, get the shell out. It's contaminated, get the smell out. You overrated, and I know you hating. What does Canaan land Moors do?
Moorish works for national progress and Moors do not need no fighting on YouTube to get views. We elevating minds, revealing more jewels. So who got next on the Pro Tools? Yes, my bar's next rhyme is the Moors on the rise, so you get where I'm coming from.
Young Moors say they thirsty and hungry for knowledge. Most of us never been university or college.
Yo, wheel that. Wheel that.
Moorish assassin, anonymous in the building. All Moroccans. What? Think I fell off or fell out, but when I yell out, I ain't afraid to tell the sellouts to get the hell out of the temple. You defile your temple, get the shell out. It's contaminated, get the smell out. You overrated, and I know you hating. What does Canaan land Moors do?
Moorish works for national progress and Moors do not need no fighting on YouTube to get views. We elevating minds, revealing more jewels. So who got next on the Pro Tools? Yes, my bar's next rhyme is the Moors on the rise, so you get where I'm coming from.
Young Moors say they thirsty and hungry for knowledge. Most of us never been university or college. We study the universe that ancestors pay homage. And when I say that I'm on it, yo, I'm on it. For better or worse, I make that promise, I carry out the works for my holy prophet. Stop it, if you think you can. This topic is way over your head, and most talk shit cause they can't comprehend. An optic illusion is what they see instead. Most talk shit cause they can't comprehend. An optic illusion is what they see instead, huh?
Read through, it's just info. No, we never been po. Paper to the people, nature hold the sequel. Until the mind reads decline from divine. Stuck in time, missing signs, oh the line is the people. And yes, I want you for your heads up. This your birthright, like torch, wake up. I'm on the raise up, playing got the stakes up. My fire to the Jake's cup, many are just caked up.
They say in God we trust, but really and truly,
all we got is us.
and you can't fool me, I know God is us. And we unruly, from the womb corrupt. Take off the veil, the facade is up. Move like turtle and snails in a barrage, I'm up. Like Chestermate still in a mirage, we stuck. Still I know we gon' prevail, cause Allah is what?
More praise do be to Allah. We shout it out, records from scriptures on the wall. Before that, look to the stars, no holds barred. Timeless, limitless, if it goes far. Yo, it's coming like stories show from opposites on the planet, but humans that work hard planning to have it.
All my excavation.
Took my birthright, boardwalk. Yo, maybe for your bloodline, maybe for the oath that you took or the contract you signed. Constitutional fraud, boy, sign line or get sidelined. I come from seeds of divine lines.
Seeds of divine lines.
Make noise in the building.
Yeah.
You know what it
Rotate
is.
all day.
Rotate the building.
Moroccans, big up RVBey, you know what it is, 27 letters.
Never to the tomb.
All right. Welcome to Sister Standing on Law. This is RVBey. I am your host today. And we are here. I want to make sure I'm being heard because I thought I had muted my phone and I didn't. So if you can hear me well, please let me know for the test, please. All right, so welcome to Sister Standing on Law. This is Sister RVBey, your host, and Eva's not with us today. We're going to be talking on law a little bit, not a little bit, about a lot of it, maybe about many things. You know, I was listening to the song that says we are family. I just want to say this. We are family. Now, I heard someone say, you know, you don't choose your family. We're not in the conscious, physical, earthly plane anyway. But you do choose your relatives. Interesting. And because relatives So I thought, wow, you did choose your relatives. And then, of course, I associated that with the astrology world, where it shows you the same thing when you're dealing with your family that you are subjected to or born in child. The house 3, Gemini, right, your family. And then looked at the polar reflection to that house, which is 9, which is Sagittarius, which are the relations as it relates to you and your mate or the family or relatives that you've chosen. So in other words, house 9 represents, not house 3 represents your immediate siblings and surroundings and family and neighborhood and what you were, came up with as a child in the household, etc. But house 9 is the social house, thereby it reflects the relatives of your mate, or whoever your mate, who you are associating with, especially typically your mate. So this is their relative, which you call them in-laws or whatever like that, right? So it is a key statement. You don't choose the family per se, but you choose the relatives. So now we need to understand that we still a family. We're family by, that's what nationality is about. It's your allegiance to your family, regardless of the condition they're in. And we're going to talk about the conditions today a little bit, and about how the only thing that can be affected on this earth plane by these other inferior, as you would call them, forces, is that which affects your psyche. We're going to talk about that. But before we do that, I want to say to you that, Sister Anna E., now we all go through whatever it is we got to go through, whatever our experiences must be. Now, Sister Anna E. recently had, just recently, Monday this week, I'm not even sure if it's Monday, I think it's Monday, had a fire. Now, no one is hurt at all, had a fire. No one was hurt. Thank the Lord for that. And by the way, no paperwork was damaged at all as well. And so, of course, it's just a little displaced because you have to move everything out. They have to regut the floors, etc. It was based on a faulty wiring or something like that, they say. So they have to, so she has to just be being displaced, and she also has to move everything out of the house that she wants to store peace, and that's what she's doing. And that's what she's experienced. Now, I tell you, in September, she, as you may all know, she lost her mother. In October, father, estranged father, but father, she lost him. And many people may not even know that. That just kind of like, you may not have known, but she lost her mother in September, father in October. Here's the third thing, a fire in the house. So what I want to do, because we're all moving and doing and having our own situations, but if you want to show any love, if you want to send her any financial donations, and please be clear, we're not asking you for that. She's not asking for that. She's just looking for love. And some people, of course, we translate that to, of course, in circumstances, you need might need a little extra finance to help do whatever, but just a storage for the time until she can get back into, because she was where she was for like 20 years. So this is not just like, oh, I just moved to an apartment and I've been here for a few years. So this is really far reaching into making adjustments or whatever. Well, her making adjustments at this time. But at any rate, if you want to send her any love, you can send it to her at the same place you send for the proclamation, and it would be Anna E. Steele, to make that in money orders, to Anna E. Ill. They're saying that they can't hear what I'm saying too well. Is this better? Please let me know, because I want to make sure that I am heard well. Is this better? Hold on, everyone. Please do not just wait a second. I want to make sure my levels are right. If not, I'll just take out going to go here. Is this better? All right. Is this a better level for hearing? I want to make sure everyone hears me. All right. I am speaking now. Can you hear me fine, or does it sound better? All righty then. So now I know what the problem is. All right. So let me continue with. All right. Let me continue with what I'm saying to you all. I trust you will hear me. You're hearing me much better now. All right. So as we were saying, Anna Edith had, and I don't want to repeat all that. I'll repeat it at the end of the show. But if you want to send a donation to her or love to her, again, I say not that she's requesting that. We need to send her some love. Anything that you might want to send that might be a contribution. Or a note or a letter or whatever, send it to her. The same place that you send a proclamation. It's Anna Eat Ill. That's where you would make out any money orders. Care of 141 Weston, Weston Street, number 1145, and that's Hartford, Connecticut, 06143. Now this is the same mailing on the National Identification Card. Section 13 proclamations. You can send right there. So send her some support. Again, when we say support, we mean some love because she's going through it. This is the third term. As we said, third incident, September, her mother passed. October, her estranged father, but he's passed. And then here it is November, and we have a fire. So, so if you want to send anything, please do so. I will mention that later. Again, but I also, since we're talking about the proclamations, we have a lot of people, I want to get into this, we have a lot of people, like even right now with this that's happening, I don't want to say they're impatient. Everybody has their own situation, their own problems. The problem is what they perceive. The problem is how you perceive the problem. Some people think, you're taking too long for my proclamations. Now, we already know that, and I'm going to put it on the site, proclamations with or without any extenuating circumstances, delays, or hindrances, of which many of those hindrances and delays are because you may have to send them back because they were not done correctly or whatever like that. No one ever, when they email and had their complaint, says, I had them sent back 2 times or whatever like that. They never say that. They'll say, I've been waiting 3 months. And then you find out, no, that's not true. You may have initiated your 3 months ago. However, you have had them sent back because something was incorrect or whatever have you like that. But that's never mentioned. So people become impatient within themselves, frustrated within themselves, and, they take things to that direction. So it's interesting, though, that even now they're like, well, just send my stuff back or whatever like that. Without any patience or understanding of what is going on and or their own situation. So I don't want to get too much into that, but I'm saying you have a little patience right now, again, because those proclamations have been moving very well since, especially since we have explained to people that you are Moors by blood and don't have 3 or 4 or 5 people sending in their proclamations all at the same time, and neither of you signed for each other, thereby making it so that we had to come together in a meeting of some kind to just to these signatures, just to witness the sealing portion. That has changed a lot because of the misconcepts of what people think family and nationality, which indicate your family allegiance is. And they're thinking, I can't sign my RVBey until I do the proclamation, formal, etc., get it back. And then that is not true because you are Moor by blood. Those titles are the titles to the ancestral estate, which was strict. You were already told in your teachings or in your studies that they were strict by an action, but you have to react yourself and there's no authority that is going to, that you have no permission that you need from anyone to state that you are who you are, because no one can change your decent nature. All right, now this is all in the studying and this is general stuff that Prophet Mubajir even left for you to look at, and investigate and study a little bit to find that to be true. So since no one can do that, then of course you can side with the illiterate. That is the whole point and purpose, because that's a title. Now, when you do your proclamation papers, and when you get an identification card, which is just a brief that expresses your position regarding the matter, in this case the matter of identification with the card, and in the proclamation and judicial notice, you are claiming, stating, proclaiming your position regarding matters, judicial matters, because it says proclamation and judicial notice. So therefore, that's what it is. It is your position. However, it does not mean that once you do that, for the record, once you do that, that if some strangers out here, like what we call policy enforcers, they're really the employees for corporations, if they should approach you and hinder you on the highway, and what they do is give you some sort of paper, which is, they call a ticket, which is a summons, which is a suit. They're making a claim against you. You don't respond back with, let me just put in my proclamation and tell them I'm a Moor. No, look at what their claim is. As a matter of fact, look at what they sent you, and dissect that and spit it right back out in the correct manner, or what you call a rebuttal. You have to, or otherwise you're just saying, well, I am who I am, and that's great. But Joe Blow over here is making a claim against you, and it's a false claim, and it's bogus, and it doesn't even apply to you. Don't you have something to say about that? And when we say about that, it's not verbal, it's written. Why is it written? Why is it written? Why is it written? Because that's substantial written evidence of your position regarding the matter. And without it, you have nothing to use when you take it to a suit level or to a higher court, or even to your friends who you want to call up and say, yo, this happened to me. What happened to you? You're not going to sit there and just verbalize it to every friend you call, because each time you yourself will find you left something out, you left this out, you left that out, you left that out. You can't, it's almost impossible for you to do that, and it's really improper and inconsiderate of you to even think that you should just, hey, let me tell you what happened to me, and then, you're not saying it as if we're having a conversation. You're saying it as if this is what happened to me, what do I do? No one can process. You can't even process all that happened to you like that. Why you think someone else is, when they're literally third party. And in law, third party is inadmissible because it has to be first person knowledge. So what am I saying? I'm saying that what you need to do is write down as you go through what happened. Write it down. What happened to you? So therefore, if you had to go to a council of people, or like I said, to a council of people that you just want to share what happened, or you want their advice or whatever, that council, they can read it and see what happened. Now this is real talk here, people. When we said years ago, and still say, you gotta be able to write a writ. That's a writ. What is a writ? Is anything written? Now, writs have different titles to them. You have a writ of error. You have a written in nature discovery. All of them are writ. They're written. There's something written. So depending on, what it is you need to write. If you want to ask questions to obtain information and figure out, what their substantive information is that they have that they're going by, which you will find there is none, but if you did, to help you is to accord your position, then you would write a writ of in the nature of discovery, discovering what the heck, what are you talking about? Where's your applicant that you think you have against me? So in the writ of the nature of discovery, you're talking about asking questions. That's it. And they have to, by law, have to answer them. And if not, then they failed in what is called due process. What is due process? It's the Constitution, to be honest with you. If due process could be expressed in a word or in a nutshell, or if the Constitution could be expressed in a nutshell, it would be called due process of law. That's really what it would be, because everything is in there that you need to know to handle your affairs. Problem we have, the problem many of us have, all right, not putting everybody in the same bag because it may or may not be. The problem is that people are not, they're not enforcing the law. They're looking for processes to be workaround, or they're looking for processes because someone said this is what you do. And then when you look at what is being said that this is what you do, you find that these things that people are saying this is what you do are nothing but a process to avoid enforcing law, period. And so what you find is our people will be heavily steeped in learning processes, such as all really their commercial processes, because they're all up into what these corporations are doing. When you already know they're doing commerce from the door, like a dog. I mean, that's why the Constitution is written. It's all of the articles tell you what they can and cannot do. So, that maybe it's new news, but at the same time, why would you get in bed with that? Not saying that you ought not know what that is, but why would you get in bed with that to defend or to present your position, which is not commerce? Because when you're dealing with your birthright, it has nothing to do with commerce. Liberties and rights are not a commercial venue. It's not a commercial process. Your birthrights are not commercial at all. And so skipping over that and then finding people who appear to spend a lot of time delving into commercial processes, that's fine if they want to know that or whatever like that. But when it comes to your position as to who you are and your right and preserving your rights, which by the way, any and all government establishments are established for the purpose of just that, to protect, preserve, and secure the rights of the people, all right? So when it comes to you dealing with your rights and liberties that you think or know has been infringed upon, all right, then it's not a commercial thing. It really isn't. You're not finding remedy in the commercial thing or commercial processes as such, even though you can sit there and, put your hand on your hip and shake your head and talk about how they doing commerce and how they, how they're just out there to get money or to get finance. No new news there. No new news there. That's always been the case. Again, that's why the Constitution, the national Constitution, that they cannot alter, nor can they change, that's why it was written to protect you from just that. But it's interesting because our people will follow everything except that. They will teach, they will learn, they will study everything but that. Because when you speak in those, even the prophet said, the law is stern, and people don't want it because it's stern. Meaning that you have to cut off the naughty and ungainly things such as your emotions about it. You have to. But everybody gets upset, and I know we've all been there, and they want to, shake their head and the hand on their head and shaking their head at what they're doing. No, you're supposed to be responding in law. That's your response. That's your rebuttal. And by doing so, you will keep them from what? molesting you. That's it. But I know we haven't done that for the most part in the Nash. I know that. So, what is happening today with all of these processes and things that have gone down the line, what is it coming to? It's coming straight to, in your face, you better have correct jurisdiction. Juris meaning right, diction meaning word. You better talk law. That's all that's happening. That's all that is all that's happening. And the reverse happens, however, in these cases. Well, not all the time, because as we reach an apex of people actually dealing with affirming or enforcing the law, all right, it may be where some people, you have to fight really hard, but eventually, as we all get it, it becomes called commonplace. And that's not new, because the Constitution is based in common law. It's based in principles, divine principles, actually, and common law. You're dealing with people who are doing commerce who don't want to deal with common law. Well, guess what? Whatever they decide to do or whatever, that's for them in their meeting room. It's not for you, the natural person. So we recognize that, many have not enforced the Constitution. Let me give you let me give you an example to talk a little bit about this. Everybody, now I just thought about, you ever heard about this WikiLeaks? I'm going to make this real clear with people to understand the power of the Constitution, or the power of the national law of the land. All right? Now, you hear these modern Europeans, I saw a little documentary, because they're after the guy, I forgot his name, Strother, or whatever his name is, whatever, that established WikiLeaks, and they leaked out information. And now you have people saying, but from a journalistic view, from amendment, or Bill of Rights 1, freedom of speech, right, freedom of press, right, also freedom of association. This modern European is saying, so if anybody is going after them, then they're not really a part of the true democracy. Well, when I heard that, it was meant for me to hear it, because that's the exact reason why they're going after them. You see, they know by the law of this land. What does it say, people? It says that it is guaranteed, protections are guaranteed under a Republican form of government. Please note, because this is where the rabbit hole goes and the confusion comes. That has nothing to do with parties that people have created, such as a democracy. It really has nothing to do with what they are showing you that is the Republic or Republican. It has nothing to do with whether you choose to be a liberal, a left wing, a right wing, none of that. It says that you are guaranteed these protections secured, right? Publican form of government. So if, for instance, WikiLeaks is registered doing business under a democracy, they don't have any rights to be afforded. This is how deep the rest of the whole goes. This is how cunning the counterfeit and contemptible spirit of, many people say evil, whatever you want to call it, is. This is how deep it goes. So you got a bunch of talking heads and showroom dummies on the television and in the news repeating the same thing over and over. I had this experience the other day, and I stayed up late, and I had the TV on, and I was listening to this portion about the guys, two, not one, but two. One is a so-called Democrat, one is a so-called Republican, but please note from what I just told you, all of them, they're not dealing with the Republican form of government. They're dealing with something they created to keep you going in circles and believing that. So they were talking about how both of them accosted women. Now, all of a sudden, everybody's talking about how they accosted women. One accosted what may be a 14-year-old or something like that, to 14 and 16-year-olds. And so they're dealing with this. And so they're like, one is coming out and saying against the Democrat, such as number 45, and has no nickel in the dime, has no room to talk regarding 13 women who came against him. I'm just laying it out for you. So I'm listening to this, and I'm thinking, this is really ridiculous. But what happened is the television was on, and the volume was down or whatever, and I stayed up late, and I realized they just kept looping the same stuff, just looping the same thing over and over again. And that's how they get the people to just entrench this crap in your head that really makes no sense. I mean, it's really talking heads for real about what they're doing. Now think about this. We talk about class, right? We talk about formalities, right? We talk about let's act civilized, right? We talk about, why don't you act right and, behave and act, civilized really is the word. And what we find, what is being exposed in your face, and if your mind is not able to assimilate this, then you can be in a little trouble right now. You can be having attacks. What I say is like psychic, so it can be attacks. All right, for real, because that's the only thing that can be affected, quite frankly, because man is mind manifested in the flesh. So when they're playing all this stuff over and over again to make you think that this is like real stuff, right? And then when you're dealing with, we're supposed to be acting civil, and everybody in the White House and like that, they're all upstanding. They have never been that. It's just been very well cloaked. So what is happening is that being exposed to you exactly what you're dealing with and what you have been dealing with, and how it has been covered up, just like all the truths about who you are, Moors, and who modern Europeans are, particularly and especially as it relates to them being the original slaves right here on this American land. See, so all of these things are being exposed. Problem is, if there's no foundation in your mind, you can really get lost and confused. Okay, all right? And you can then begin, like I said, the problem is how you see the problem. The problem is what you perceive the problem to be in your mind. So there's a lot of people walking around seeing these things that are happening but don't know what to do. Well, not new either, because in the King Alpha plan it said that. It said that, you'll know something's wrong, but you won't know what to do. So foundation is the key. Civics for civilized people is the key, all right, which is based in foundational principles of civilization and civilization principles, right? That's part of the foundation. Civics for civilization, civics for civilized people. That's the key. So you're dealing with what seems to be extremely uncouth, uncivilized, low-ranking bull stuff. That's what you're dealing with. And they got talking heads telling you anything, looping it over and over and over and over again. All right? And even if you don't listen to that, because as we were coming up, we never really wanted to listen to the news. Who the hell wants to listen to the news? Especially as you're coming up, you got other things that you would rather be doing. But upon taking a listen, just for once, you'll see how ridiculous it is, and where we are. So I say all this because these times right now are times for adjustment, are times for exposure. Time to expose those who do wrong or wicked, wrongdoings, evil doings, wicked, whatever word you wish to use, whichever one sounds modernly correct for you. It all goes back to the source of the same thing. All right, it's either higher self activities or lower self activities, and the key word is self. So as we see what is happening, and we see these energies and these activities are happening, it's a matter of your foundation of knowledge, which has been deflected, of course. But as far as this platform that we come from, that we stand on as the platform, and the mission of that platform being to uplift fallen humanity, right? When you come from that position, you have to know civilized people, not commercial processes. You have to. So we come from that platform because that platform of nationality, which first, then if you're talking about national principles, then you're talking about civics. And if you're talking about civics, you look around and see the uncivilized activities, and then you say, oh, that's why humanity must be uplifted in order to take what? Their place where? In the affairs of who? Man. In order to take the place in the affairs of man. So therefore, Moor, sisters, we have to link ourselves back to family of nations. So first we have to understand that we're our family and the condition that it is in. Not to mock at it, but to recognize it so that we can be sane during these insane days, because it's all insane right now. That's the only thing that can be affected. I want to say, and I think some of you will relate, please come. I want to give you a description of what that is like. That I don't have to give it to you because I think you can relate. You know those days when your mind, you're agitated, your spirit is agitated, your mind is agitated. You feel like you just want to give up. You don't know what you're going to give up to, or how you're going to give up, or what you're giving up, how, when, where, why. You just feel that way. It's a feeling, you know, and you just feel, you know, you're distressed. This is personal now to yourself, you know. I've been there. I felt it, and I realized, oh, shoot, this lasted for nothing should last more than 3 days. If you don't come out of it and show some light in 3 days, it's not good. It's not healthy at all. But that agitation that you feel within yourself, it has nothing to do with anyone else. It has all to do with you. Those are the times when things feel like they're going to slip, or you feel like things are going to slip, or you feel like you're going to slip. But really, it's just all in your mind, because man is mind. And so wherever that is in your mind. Now, you can have people say to you, oh, you really don't even have people say it to you, because you don't even share with them when you're feeling that dark, when you're feeling that agitated. You don't even really talk to anybody about it, but you know what I'm talking about. You have that, you've experienced that, and it's uncomfortable. It's actually agitation, mothers, because mothers can become agitated. But it also feels so dark, like you're not sure, but you come out of it. When you come out of it, it's like a new day dawning. It's like a new dawning of a new day when you come out of it. And you can even go back and really recall what it was that you were thinking at that time, or how you were feeling at that time, you know, because you come out of that agitated, dark stage. It's a dark feeling. You feel like your mind's been flipped. You're not sure. You don't have a grip on what's going on. at that time. You can't even put it in words. One thing you're not going to feel like doing is sitting and dealing with any lawful matters if that should come upon you at the time. You're not going to feel like writing anything, because you're caught for a second. The problem, however, is you do have to deal with law in the written form, which is the only way you can deal with it, is that sometimes there's no time. You have to move and move quick. Now, why am I saying that? Bringing this back to law. These people that are accosting you, because they are accosting you for the purpose of exacting finances and or robbing you of whatever property you do have or whatever like that, they're moving quicker. Have you noticed? They're moving quicker. They're giving you maybe some sort of summon suit ticket. It's really a suit. And they might give you a week, maybe 2 weeks, max. Whereas before you had time or you could get time. They're moving quick because they know that the time is at hand. And they know that most of us don't know what are not going to do what we need to do because we just say, I don't want to be bothered. But I'm telling you, my nation of family, I'm telling you, if you don't get to writing down, writing I read, not like someone made a thing who's negative and slandering about what I'm saying to you right now. They're saying if you write a writ and the writ doesn't work and the people who told you to write it aren't helping you, then those people are a cult. I mean, I've actually seen people write this, all right? And these people were saying this are weak. They're weak. They're not soldiers. They're not warriors. They're not soldierettes. They're not none of that. They're trying to find another way around so master doesn't get upset, or they're paid to be agents to tell you that stuff. So, but most people who do write writs, it's true because they ask you, well, where's that writ? Is it on the, where is it? Do you have it? Can you give me a template? How can it be templates? Yes, most of the stuff on the site it may be even somewhat lengthy, some of it, because all of it is in there for you to use what you need, for you to tailor to what you need. It's just information for you to tailor to your needs. The problem is that you don't even understand what it is that you need because we're not aware of what the hell is happening. And you couple that with no study whatsoever in law through process. You put all that together, you have got a disaster going down. And so that means that you may not be able to write it, or you may write it and color it, all right? Yeah, I said color it. Let's do this. These are terms that have already been put out. Color means to color it up. Color of law, color of office, a semblance of that which is real, but it's not. It's not allodial. It's not allodial law. It's color of law. And then you mix them together. Couple that with the fact that you really don't know, so you are not standing on any knowledge base of your own, just of the writ that you saw up on the site or that someone gave you. And so therefore you can't stand in your own truth. You can't stand in your own situation because you're lacking the tools or have been lacking the tools necessary to assess what is happening because you're thinking that these people are law, these people are government. You're concentrating more on what they're doing instead of what you need to do. But again, lacking the foundation of information makes it so that you're almost unable to. Because I'm telling you, there are many ways to skin the damn cat. It can be very brief. It has to be strategic. It doesn't have to be lengthy. You can come from so many different angles once you know what is what and who is who. Listen to us carefully. You've got to know who is who. You've got to stop calling the people who are literally You got to stop calling them cops. You got to stop calling them law enforcers. You can't give them that. That's not who they are. Listen, I'm going to say it again. That is not who they are. That is not who they are. Stop saying it. I know, saying black, right? It takes a minute, doesn't it? It takes concentration, focus, and study, and time. That's what it takes. Into the focus, the study, the time into the focus, the study. That's what it takes. That is what it takes. And putting the dots together. And then, no matter what is put before you, you know how to handle it because of one reason. One main reason, you know who is who and what is what. So now, how do you deal with that? Devoid of emotion about it. You got to deal with law that is stern. So that means it doesn't have the knotty edges and the ungainly things around it. And that, you know, and for those who may not know what I'm speaking from, that will be chapter 5 of the 7 Holy Quran, where you have the tools of the workshop of the mind, and it is clearly explained how these tools are applied to you and your spirit, your soul, your activity, and your affairs. So you got to use us all to cut off all the naughty and ungainly things. So that's what I'm speaking of. So the law, length, angle, width, of which you are the law, sisters, and every baby you bring in, every child you bring in, you are laying down the law, length, angle, width, is stern. So that means it doesn't have a bunch of naughty and ungainly things attached to it. And so we have to use the saw to get rid of it. Now, the favorite tool I like is the dead-gone hammer, to hammer the truth until it is a part of everything. And that's what we're doing, or at least that's our position, our intent. What we're doing is the truth. So we talk about the truth about a law. And then you get somebody to tell you, oh, no, that's not right, you know, and then they say you got to do it this way, and then they start giving you commercial processes as if your rights, liberties, and birthrights have something to do with commerce. So then again, that's another one of the not knowing who is who and what is what, and mixing it together, and then throwing in your emotions to truly kill it, to truly kill this montage of madness. And so some people will say, well, it seems like, you know, you seem to know, or they'll say to other people, I'm not saying you're saying it to me, but to whoever you think, you'll say, you seem to know the law, you seem to be saying, you may think. It's really not. Once you can know who is who, starting with yourself, and that you're the law manifested in the flesh, that's the spiritual, and anything else is fiction, man-made, and really doesn't apply to you. Because you're having this experience manifested in the flesh on this earth plane to learn your lesson. But you never, ever, ever forget where you came from, who you are in this experience. Because, see, what happens is the beast, and I'm going to use that word to say lower vibration, you know, because it's beast of the field, it's, you know, there's the creepy crawly things, there's fish in the sea, you know, there's birds that fly in the sky, etc. like that, and then there's you who has dominion over all of that. So they eat each other. But what happens when you fail to know who you are, manifested, man is mine, you are law, length, angle, and width of energy to the cosmos, manifested in the flesh on air. You become eaten like a carcass. You become the carcass, and you become eaten because you forgot that you're not the flesh, that you're just navigating in the flesh. And absolutely victory is assured in that position if you know who you are. If you don't ever forget that, then it doesn't matter what obstacles come in the road. They're there to test you to see if they can make a carcass. Now, when I say carcass, am I talking dead? Yes. So let's apply that to law. Civil little more tooth means dead in the law. means dead in the eyes of the law. So all things are applied. You just have to know where you are in it and stay with that. All right? So in full life is the opposite of civil little one too. So all things are applied and attached to every other thing. You may think, well, I'm not going to deal with that because that's their family or whatever. Or because that's their family. And hold on a minute. Let me see. Hold on, people. Give me 1 second. All the way up there. Yes, indeed. Thank you for that. I got that. All right. So now listen. So you cannot miss who you are ever as you traverse on this green pasture called Earth or Terra, Terra, or Tiamat, or whatever name that people or appellation that people want to spew out through their lips in this confoundness of language. All right, the source is the source is the source. So, as you traverse here, it is not the be all and end all, but it damn sure is your test about life. It is, and if you don't stand firm in who you are, the law manifested in the flesh. And when I say law, I mean it. That ain't going with. If you don't, you will become a carcass, dead, and you will be eaten by the lower beasts of the field. And I'm saying beasts of the field of this earth plane. That's the test. That's it. That's all. Because you already know you're going to pass form in this fleshly manner anyway. However, how you live. Do you live in full life? So now people will say, well, yeah, but they're doing this and they're doing that. Well, that's what they're doing. It's not about what they're doing. It's about what you're doing. But you can't recognize even what they're doing properly unless you actually know the difference. Back to the law. It's like a light. Listen, the Constitution and the principles therein is like a daggone life jacket. That's really at this time. Do you know the power if everyone enforced it? Now, I just showed you that the reason why many people are not afforded the securities based in it is because they're running around talking about they Democrats. They're running around registering on the demi jurisdictions. Yes, they are. They're running around saying, "Oh, I'm a Democrat." I'm buying into that, which that is false in itself. But as I mentioned with WikiLeaks, because they're not secured under the Republican form of government, but yet they want to talk about Bill of Right 1 being the right to freedom of speech, association, etc. Like that. No, not if you are allegiancing yourself to a democracy or to a corporation, which is why the Constitution was set. The articles of what they can and cannot do, the Bill of Rights is for you, and it's reserved for you to do. In other words, if it's not in there, they don't have any jurisdiction over it. So what do? All day long, those who want to turn you into a carcass. So that's what they want to do. Why? Because they eat carcasses. That's why. That's why they slaughter the lamb. When did they slaughter the lamb? When did they eat the lamb? After they slaughter it. Oh, you mean after it becomes dead? Yeah. Well, be careful then. You don't become a carcass. Really, seriously, because that's what they do. When you know this, and you really know this once you know what is law, then you can very easily see. So you wouldn't put yourself in those positions and those jurisdictions. So now I had mentioned earlier that someone had said. Now I want you to think about this. There's someone out there. You might know who this person is. I will never, ever say who they are. I will never expose them by name, because I think this one is a name. I'm not sure. Or by title, or by anything. I will not do that. I will not buy into that. But you heard it because it's a brand. It's out there. It's what is pulling your mind into the abyss of Hades, to be honest with you. As long as you're still going to be walking on this earth, and you're going to be walking into the lower self activity, then you underground walking in Hades, in hell. That's the other word for hell. For real, for real. And so they're pulling you there. So the being says things like I said earlier about if someone tells you to write a writ and the writ don't work. Well, let me stop right there. The writ don't work because you don't work, because you took the writ and you copied it from somewhere and somebody, and it's not in your spirit at all times, 24/360, 24/7, 360. It's not. So therefore, that's why. Many people have done that. Not all, but many. Too many. Looking for an answer, and it's understandable why. Looking for the answer, but you are not going to have this until you have the knowledge. Cannot overcome none of this until you have the knowledge, period. That's old news and new news and future news. That's how it's going to go down, all right? You have to have the knowledge. Otherwise, you what? Perish. And become the carcass that gets eaten, period. But anyway, so the person said that, and translate that in law to civil or to dead in the eyes of the law. It don't matter how they kill you, they just got to kill you, take your breath. That's how it goes. That's what murders and thieves do, robbers. And that's what they do, the robbers. So if you know the robbers are coming through the roof, which is their head, fix the damn roof. That's what it is, for real. And that's written in one of the, I think the Book of Thomas says that. But so this person says that, so if you write a writ, if somebody tells you to write a writ, now they're talking about us, what we do at RVBey. I know this because we definitely say that. I just said it, and I'm still going to say it, and that's the way it goes. It's substantial evidence. Your position, your record. They're not going to keep the record of what happened for you. You got to do it. You have to be the record keeper. So they'll say that if they tell you to write the writ, and then, it doesn't work, and then, they're not really there to help you, right? Then they have to be a cult. A cult. I'm not even going to break down culture to that. I'm not even going to add the word culture to that statement, because it's the being that said it and how they're making it happen. They don't even deserve that. But I just got a text. So let's look at the schools that we go to. They see the same thing over and over again. Are they a cult? Well, let's look at that. Because the schools that we have gone to, for the most part, and especially lately, especially now and lately, and what they have planned for the children in the near and immediate future, the immediate and near future, to cultivate their mind, right, is lies. We don't even have to go there. That's like a whole nother thing. But is that their culture? Is that a cult? Yes, I would think so, because they have a plan and they're activating it, and you're buying into it. So I say to you, in these days of these wild times, you got people that have dirty water. You got people who don't have any school supplies. By the way, speaking of that, you got a bunch of crazy stuff going. Listen, there's so much stuff going on that we can't even keep up with. We're gonna try to, though. We're gonna try to, only with that you need to have your ear and eye on for one reason, and one reason only. We will do this so that you can open up your mind, open your eyes, and wake up. That is it. Because see, waking up is part of the mission of uplifting fallen humanity. A part to that is wake up. You are asleep. And if you stay asleep, I'm telling you, you're going to become a carcass. And when you are the carcass, you get eaten. And that's that objective. Period, point blank. That's it. So all the crazy things. Now, I even had someone mention it briefly, how we just don't get who is who and what is what. We don't get it. But this is why you're saying, well, start with yourself first. Who are you? That's why I'm saying, know that you're the law manifested in the flesh. Start there, because you are. And know that this written constitution was written so that other people could operate on your ancestral estate and do what? Commerce. That's all that they wanted to do. And here we are, dealing with that, but not preserving our life. So, we get caught up in, the other day about the health right. What the hell are health rights? No such thing as health, right to health. You have a right. You have many rights. You do have a right to health, but, it's not something that someone could ever legislate or scribe in any way, other than for you to listen to, the remedies of the earth that was put here for you. Other than that, it's nothing to be legislated, people. You can't legislate your right to health. Now, what is really being said is that these people who are working, the people to death, if you will, slaves, because it's still like real slavery is just bureaucratized, and that starts with. Let me give you some news about that, and also about the Social Security. Let me make a note of this because I want to mention this, and then I'm going to yield to answer questions if there are any or comments. So, what is happening is they want to control your health. Listen carefully. You have a right. Your rights and your liberty are innumerable. That means that you come with them. They're called birthrights. How about that? That sound familiar? But at the most strictest sense of your liberty is that very one of locomotion to go to and fro. So you already know they've attacked that. Those are their causes, the highwaymen that attack that. Now, so what they're trying to say is let's legislate, which they've already kind of done, but that has nothing to do with you. Where they're giving you, as far as health goes, drugs, so-called doctors, all of them are pulling out of, a lot of them are pulling away from this stuff, and you need to as well. But we're behind in the times. We're behind because our mind is not clear yet. We haven't waken up yet and opened up our mind to the truth. Because you would say to me, well, what do I open up my mind to? It's already been told what to open up your mind to. It's called truth. And what is truth? It's the light, not the darkness. It's the marvelous light. And it's the feminine aspect. Open up your mind and let her come in and make herself at home. It's just through a crack. Truth will come in and make themselves at home. That's what you open up your mind to. Then you say, well, what is the truth? It's the light. What takes you out of the darkness that you think you're in right now because you don't have the truth. Now, you can say, well, my truth is whatever. Truth is truth. It doesn't change, nor does it pass away. So if you don't have the fundamental truth, then, you can stand in your own truth, of course, but you still need to know how to apply yourself in your affairs with your truth. So you'll say, what do I open up my mind to? Truth. Wow, how do I do that? Love. With the principle called love. All right. So now the truth is that these people are trying to tell you they can legislate your right to health. Like you have to be off your rocker, and I'm using that as a terminology, to even receive that crap. Hear me? To receive it, it can't be legislated. Rights can't be legislated. They're not legislated. They're preserved. They're protected, and they're secure. And if you're not preserving, protecting, and securing them at all costs for yourself and your children, your family, then there might be a little crack that some darkness might want to come in and try to legislate or control or destroy, because the point is to get you to become a carcass on this earth plane so that you can be eaten. Do you get that? Because that's what it is. Dead. Dead. How do you make a mind dead when man is mind and not the body? Open up your mind to the light of truth. The sun, it shines every day to give you a semblance of what that light is. Walk towards the light. No, I'm not talking about death. I'm not talking about death experiences, because some people say, that's a farce thing. I don't want to get into that, but I'm just saying, you have to. The light is within you, so you can't have things going on that shades that light. All right. So your right to health can't be legislated. So there's nothing to talk about. What you can recognize is when someone is trying to infringe upon your right to health. Hello? How about recognizing that? Because that has already been affirmed in international documents, such as the rights of indigenous people. Excellent affirmation. Excellent affirmation. Excellent affirmation. Why don't you rest on that, people, in masses? In multiples of people rest in that. I know why. Because you're still in the mental slavery, not awakened. That's why. And it's all right. It's just that we've got to see this. This is what has to happen. So it's already, so why not rest on that and make that happen? So they're trying to accost that right to health, because if you continue to take the drugs and all the experimental crap that they're doing, you will surely die. And at an earlier age, I don't know if it's 60, 70. I know it's around 70. Everybody starts breaking down, and then they still go and take these prescriptions and things of sort that further weaken the organs of the body trying to assimilate a drug, a true drug. Because there's a true drug dealer. So then that just only makes, so it's just a matter of time, when it comes to that. Now, as far as there's another, with the SSN is concerned. Now, maybe you have heard that they're getting ready to get rid of the SSN. I mean, who really cares, right? But I'm just saying. So all of the efforts that I've heard people say, I'm going in and I'm changing, and my SSN number, the card, I'm going to put my Bay on there or my eel on there. It really doesn't even matter what you do at this point, because first of all, the SSN is not government. Second of all, the SSN is likened to an insurance policy. Really, it's gambling. It's likened to an insurance policy anyway. But because they're all corporations and they collude with each other, they'll get you to subscribe to this thing, such as SSN, subscribe to this thing over here, subscribe to that thing over there. In your mind, you're dealing with three different things. You may be thinking you're dealing with three different things, and you may be, and you really are, because they're separate administrations or setups or whatever. Then as family, because they're family, they collude all of that together and start picking you to turn you into the carcass that I spoke of, so they can eat you. So then they have you thinking for whatever reason that it's government and this is what we need to do. So what's happening is the SSN is going to be going away anyway, because it is what it is. It is a choice anyway. You do not have to participate if you do not want to. And I'm not telling people who are benefiting from it today to not do it. I'm not saying none of that. I'm just saying to the people who are coming up, it's not going to even be there as the thing the post that you can lean on. So if you think times are strange or hard, you need to think a little bit harder, because true Social Security is you and I taking care of our own elders. That's true Social Security. That is true Social Security. For real. And figuring out how to make that happen. All right? That's what it is. And don't ever lose sight of that. So now, because they know that, got a new thing where they're paying your daughter or your granddaughter, paying them to take care of the elder as they're older. Well, that's what you're supposed to be doing anyway, but now they're going to get paid to do it. If you don't think that that's not something they're bringing you into, and believe me, they're still going to rip off grandma's stuff through the contract that you signed that has adhesions to it that you didn't pay attention to because you're getting paid. It's a job, right? Believe me, they're setting up for the next wave of generations on how to eat the people, turn them into carcass, dead in the eyes of the law, still a little more too, still closed minds and in mental slavery. That's their new thing because it sounds good, doesn't it? Right. So now, the SSM's getting ready to be gone. As far as the birth certificate, you know, somebody really needs to just slam this thing for what it is once and for all. All right? Because through that instrument, simply put, is the proof. Remember, the prophet said, don't let go of that name. People misconstrue that, but that is the proof of human trafficking. Now, he said don't let go of it, but he said don't do any new business in it either. Now, have you ever thought what that means? What that is in law? No, you haven't. I'm pretty sure most haven't. So this is don't let go of it, but the birth certificate itself is the proof of human trafficking, which is genocide. That's why. So what do you do when it comes up? X-rail. What are you talking about, Rod? Look it up. Only 2 people on the planet can use X-rail. The Attorney General. Why? Attorney General is because you're speaking for what? Corporations. To speak for corporations. So they can use X-rail to speak for them because they can't speak for themselves. And the only other person on the planet that can use X-rail is someone who is in their proper person. That ought to be used. Because what's happening now is they are really doing think tanks. And they really, when they stop, all they want to do is have a joinder to you and even a past driver's license. And this recently happened too. A past driver's license instrument that could be 20 years expired. They still got that crap in their computer because that's what they use. They don't have a button that ever terminates it. You would have to write a writ yourself to the Department of Transportation to terminate it. And then when it comes up, let that be what comes up, if it comes up, instead of do not detain. Listen to this. Listen, the do not detain thing that everybody has been also doing, that is temporary because, first of all, that would be, I believe, written to the Attorney General, and the Attorney General puts you on a do not detain list momentarily because you are suing. But what you found is someone's doing that little process, but they're not suing. So you're going to come off of the do not detain list in a minute, all right? Trust and believe that. So it was a temporary, momentary fix. Listen, times are moving too fast for that. Times are moving too fast, so all of that stuff is going to be washed away, and you will be standing naked, as we say, with yourself as to who you are, and you have to know and have knowledge. So now the other thing that's going on also, briefing it, is this thing about diplomatic status. First of all, Moors don't have consuls in their own land, and a diplomat is someone who, listen carefully, and look it up, is someone who is in a foreign land and is a diplomat and a representative of where he's from, assigned by his own people, almost like electing them to that position. That's number one, all right? And they're in a foreign land. So anyone who's saying, let me give you diplomatic status right here on your ancestral estate, is saying to whoever you, whatever paperwork you did, you're telling those people and yourself that you are a foreigner in your own land. See, because that's all that you could ever get from any of the processes and paperwork left behind from these people. Because that's all they are. They're foreigners. They're foreigners. So you can't use their stuff. And when it gets to the point where they're starting to come after their own family members for these processes, watch out. Because they definitely, you're on the list to come after. And when you kind of find someone who's still pushing it like that, either they're going to be sought after, eventually they will be sought after, or they've made a deal of some kind to be an agent for it, to pull who? The people, the Moors that are rising into that particular channel to go that way rather than to stand firmly on the law. and bring themselves out of civil little more to dead status. That's it. That's it, and that's all. That's how that goes down. So all of these redemptions of the birth certificate and all that stuff, no, it's the instrument that proves human trafficking. Now, I don't have, I don't know, I think I've added everything that I kind of wanted to add to say. We're going to talk a little bit or maybe a lot of bit about law to a degree. Okay, let me see. I have one more comment here that I have written. Here we go. Someone wrote me here. I don't know if they want me to say it's from. Yeah, this is from. I have written writs. Listen to this, Stacey, on my Christianity. All right? And it says, I have written writs that have gotten people fired or resigning because congressional committee hearings and everyone talking about the Constitution. So maybe those other people's writs did not work because they were written in a frivolous manner, which is a huge problem. Our people do not know how to write. Oh, you know what? Thanks for bringing that up. And she's not saying that she wrote with that our people fired, but people are saying that. Okay. We said several years back, learn how to write a bit, learn how to write a bit. Even if you don't know how to type, you know what you want to write, and you could pay a service, a typing service to type it. You can. At some point, we trust we'll get to that place. And then we don't have to worry about what jobs and stuff like that, because a typing service is a great service that we will be needing that as massively as a people. Trust me. And, I started a typing service, years ago before I even came into this information, It's a necessity, and it's going to be another necessity for us if no one else. Even with computers that can, format and all that stuff, like still got to know how to type, and you still got to know what to say, because it's the words and what you're saying that goes on the paper that makes the writ when it's all said and done. So because we don't know how to write, and we don't know what to write, I think not only that we don't know how to write, because we're not accustomed to it, we don't know what to write, because we don't know how to pull. It's like having a reservoir of information, or it's something like a library, but it's a reservoir of information. Yeah, I guess it would be a law library. How about that? And something that happens to you, and you need to, first of all, you and only you can say what happened to you, because nobody else was there, unless there was, in fact, a witness there that witnessed what happened to you. Then they can be a corroborating, viable witness. Did you see it happen? Yes, I did. Were you there? Did you see it happen? No, I didn't. Well, then we can't use your testimony or whatever they want to call it, or whatever you're going to say. We can't use that because you were not there. You're not first person. Same thing goes when you go to someone else and you want them to write what happened to you when you were the one that it happened to. And if you just have to spit it out of your mouth and then have people who know how to edit and punctuate and spell and stuff like that and form the words on the paper so that it comes out as a writ. Okay, that's all right, that's fine. But it has to be your information, your experience, because that's firsthand. Now, this is what is happening. These people are crossing you on the highway. They collude with each other, and they have a canned process of how they're going to do this thing. And you got what? Jack, nothing. You don't even put in a record of what happened from your perspective. You don't even do that much, so therefore there's nothing from you on the record. Whether they want to read it, not read it, it doesn't matter. You prepare these papers so that when you sue them, you already have it prepared. For example, and as simple as, we're talking due process, any violation of one part of due process is a violation of the whole thing has to fall apart. So let's just say, say to people, look, put in a quo warranto, Argument of jurisdiction. What is that? That's a request for something from them, right? All right, give them 5 days. Well, give them 10 days. Whatever. 30 days is normal, but don't give them that long. Why? Because they're moving fast on your ass. That's why. And because they're supposed to have this, just like a restaurant has a license to operate, they're supposed to have this before they start doing anything that is anywhere near or remote to judicial matters. They're supposed to have it already before they send their minions out to accost you on the highway. That's proof to you to show you that that's what they're doing. They're out to generate finance for the corporation. Period. So you send in the quo warranto. This is just an example. They don't answer it in the 10 days you give them. Because I wouldn't give them more than 10 days. I think. And they don't answer it. They just violated due process of law. Now you can just remove it and sue them. For what? Violating due process of law. Not dance with them. Because we've been there, done that dance with them. But now they've upped the ante. They're gonna move real fast, and you and I have upped the ante. All right, because we realize that all we need is one violation of due process, and the rest is done. But we got to move quickly ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So as simple as I said it, I made it sound simple, and it is simple. So whatever that writ is that you put in, whether it's a discovery writ, whether it's the easiest thing is to ask for it pursuant to Article 3 of the Constitution, where judicial matters are concerned, and to ask for that, and they don't give it, that means they don't have it. That means if they don't have it, it's got to be dismissed, got to go. You don't even have, they can't proceed. But so that right there still requires you to write something. Now we have the quo warranto up there. You didn't really have to write that because it's simplistic, except to add what venue you're dealing with. Of course, you wouldn't use a quo warranto that's a template that is a sample and not put in who it is you're sending it to. Like, that's not common sense. But aside from that, it's there. But no, sometimes we want to just get our point across and talk too much. And then the other thing to remember in law, and don't be afraid of this. This is going to help you a lot. The question that they may ask you, answer belongs to you. You answer the question. Eventually, when they start asking you questions, if you're in that position, they'll stop asking you. Why? Because you're not giving the answers that they need to hear to join to for whatever it is that they want to do. So they stop asking questions. Because you're not going down the road that they want you to go down. You're not seeing the normal stuff that everybody seems to say. See, they got think tanks. And in their think tanks, they look at what most Moors do, and they develop a process for that. And that's what they bring forth. Now, that brings me to something else. I want to clear something else up real like I said, we're going to touch on a few things, so take notes if it's something that you want to ask about. They had a report that came out, and it was in error. Everybody was going around saying that the FBI said that Moors were terrorists. That's not true. The FBI never said that. That's not what they said. You remember Finch and Flowers? I know y'all remember them. I remember them from early on. I was just coming into this thing, but I thought I wrote a response to them, on the site for the people to review. That was pretty good even then, in terms of who they were and who they are not. But they are writers for the Southern Poverty Law Report. So what happens is they went out and devised. Listen to this now, people. This is serious. We got to realize what we're in here. They went out and they created a program to teach to all the municipalities on how to deal with quote-unquote more sovereign citizens. This is why we said before and always have said, look, don't go out talking about I'm a sovereign citizen. There's no place called sovereign land. You're not a citizen, a sovereign citizen. Got to understand what citizen actually is. But sovereignty comes with nationality. You're born that way. So modern Europeans created looking for sovereignty that they didn't have because they were literally born in slavery. No diggity, no doubt. So, and they trying to find sovereignty on your ancestral state, this American land, Morocco. Really, it's the original. This is Morocco. The Moroccan kingdom is not the same, and you never hear anybody, where's Morocco? Yeah, right. That's the kingdom of Morocco. So this is Morocco. So they trying to find sovereignty or gain sovereignty, created something literally called the Sovereign Citizen Movement. They did. Yeah, that was the modern European movement. And in that, they have some good information and law and stuff because the law applies to everybody. It's just a matter of knowing who you are in it, as I said earlier. Who you are. What is your status? What are you proclaiming? All right? What are you standing on? What is your standing? What is your stance? So they created the sovereign citizen movement. But then Moor started picking up their tracks and they threw it away when they found out what? That you, modern Europeans, are not or anywhere near close to it up in here. And they realized that. So they had to give that stuff up. But we picked it up because we're behind. We're behind, most of us, not all of us. And we picked it up and ran with it. So now they're saying, the extension files literally went and trained the municipalities across the nation, across the American land, on how to deal with Moors. That's their think tank move, all right? Now, what the FBI has done, and you know what? I was trying to find that report, but I know that NE has posted it up on Moorish, WordPress. Moorish News. WordPress. Moorish News. Let me get it. But she posted it up on a Moorish News. WordPress.com. Okay. She did post it, I'm pretty sure. And the FBI then wrote and denounced, y'all hear me? Denounced any affiliation or affiliation with Southern Poverty Law Center report that they do every year or every so many years. They denounced it as being unviable, unreliable. See, how many people know that? But first you have to know that it wasn't the FBI that said that Moors were terrorists. You see, this is the trip up that we find ourselves in. So what the FBI did in order to, clear that matter is they denounced Southern Poverty Law Firm, of which Fiction Flowers is a writer in that. They denounced them as being viable and put out a report, and I know and it may have posted that too, where they showed you the origins of the Southern Poverty Law Center. Because first of all, it's their report, so it's only opinion. It's not law. That's the first thing we need to know. We could tell people that a long time ago. The Southern Poverty Law Report is a report. It is not law. It's their opinions. It's not law. All right? But still, saying that the FBI called Moors terrorists, not true. And they came out and they made that report, so we posted it up so you could read it. So we got to clear these matters up because they go through think tanks to try to figure out what are Moors doing now, what's the direction they're going in now. So now they'll stop you and they'll ask you, well, we want your straw name. Ain't that it? A straw name? Oh, so we want what you were born with. Who are they to ask? This is my ID. This is my ID. This is who I am. So now, how do you deal with that, you might be thinking? Well, first of all, ex-rel is the lawful position regarding the nom de guerre, because that's what it is. It's not a strong name field. Never was. It's a nom de guerre. Nom de guerre means a fictitious name, a war name, and a name assumed for a time. That's what nom de guerre is, and that is proper for Moors to use, because all three of them apply. Because we don't know we're in a civil war, but we are. And we don't know that when they strip you of, look, think about it. Stripping of titles, that's a war. That's an act of war right there. How dare them. All right, that's an act of war right there. To strip you of your title, Really? What? Why would you need to do that? Because that's the title to the ancestral estate. So raise up your babies and call them Negroes, colors, and blacks, and be citizens of, these corporations. Period. Don't be Aboriginal, Indigenous. Don't be the nationals of this land. That's why they did it. So that's an act of war in itself, because no one can change the descent nature anyway. And by them doing that doesn't change you. It's just you got to come into knowing who you are and honor your ancestors. So and who are your ancestors? Who are the mothers and fathers of civilization, civics, and civilization principles? So I wanted to clear that up and about that report. And so it's gone wild. It's just, picked up in people. Now, there's other people who are doing slandering. And believe it or not, someone asked me if I wanted to be on a panel with, I'm not going to say the name of the person who asked me, and I'm definitely not going to say the name of the person who they asked to be on to straighten up their concept. You know what I said? I said, look, people who are out here, they got on affairs, they say they sheep, spread pigs or whatever. If they had done any amount of study, they would never be saying half the stuff that they're saying. Now, remember, the prophet himself said the half has not been told. So they haven't even gone to research the other half that hasn't been told yet, all right? And so, people have egos. And so it's like if you corner somebody, you're dealing with people who have no problem with slandering. And listen, I got accused, and they also accused Todd and RVBey. Well, they couldn't really accuse the newspaper, so, whatever. They of being the reason why Kareem Gaines got murdered. That was a blow. I stand strong in everything as best I can. That is wicked. That's wicked. Really, really, really wicked. You want me to be in the same room on a panel with a jerk that thinks like that? No, Because here's what happens. If someone is that stupid, ignorant, no, I'll use ignorant, that ignorant and that dirty, right, and that unknowledgeable, that they would put out things like that. And if you were to have a situation where, the light is shined on and they backed in the corner with law, how would they come out of that corner? That's what I'm thinking. How would they come out of that corner? Would they come out swinging? Would they come out swinging with verbal attacks? In the flesh? We're there in the flesh? That's not going to work out too well. And as a person, whether I'm a mother or even I have a son, and I know my son is, ride or die with the family. So if he would be there, that wouldn't work very well. And even with myself, I'm saying, why would I put myself in a position to know that, when the person, because you can't say when the light of truth shines on someone's body that they're going to come out, with new garments on right there in the spot. That's not how it happens. It's an exorcism that has to happen. It's time. And who's going to want to be in that position to be cornered and then what? So I'm thinking, what would they do? So they have to go and have their exorcism in their time. But hear this, that's truth, what I just told you. It's the exorcism and then the baptism of the information. Let's believe that. It's the exercising out of the junk, and I'm not talking about the devil. I'm talking about the information in your mind that has been supplanted there over generations and generations and generations that has been passed down to you from your parents and your mother and father, and you are passing to your children, et cetera, like that. That's what I'm talking about. That's the exorcism of that information out so that the water of the truth can be baptized in and have a place to go in the compartment of your mind, because it's filled with some other stuff like a closet. You can't put nothing else in until you take that stuff out. That's real talk right there. So what happens if one doesn't have full understanding of that? What they do is they allow their ego to step in front. And the ego allows them not to be able to be humble. Period. So now their actions thereafter are going to be just as ignorant as the last action before. I wouldn't want to be putting myself in a place for them to throw up all over me. That stuff, it's really not wise. So I say to you that as you look at all this information that's coming across in this electrifying age of information, you look at YouTube, you look at Facebook, which is to me has become a cesspool. But I'm sure there's people on there that are doing positive things. I'm sure. However, I say to you, we have, as a people, we always talk about each other. We always talk about where we are. The fact that we were given an open venue to express on YouTube and on Facebook, and look at what we've done. Look at what we express. I say to you, the mission to uplift the fallen humanity is still on the front burner. It still is on the front burner, and it must happen, and it starts with you and I and everyone with themselves first. It really does, because you can't help someone else if you can't really see yourself or help yourself. You just cannot do it. And that's another thing that ego does. That's when we add what this ego does. Ego makes it so that people get a little bit of information and they think that it is their duty to go out and help everybody, and they don't have it all that they need to have yet. I say yet. Some people say, no, they're never going to get it. I always have hope. I do. I always have faith. I do. And I always say I trust. But, and I'm going to continue to say that because that's why the information is there. So they would have to, they would have to be humble enough to see humility is the way, as they say, the error of the ways, and then correct them. The ego doesn't allow that to happen, so it ends up being what you see, just controversy, slander, defense, all of that. But people, look, we have had, because they're starting to regulate Facebook and YouTube now because of the uncivilized activities, but we had an entire open forum to express and look what happened. We hate against each other, and the world sees it. We haven't arrived yet in that respect in terms of being risen to a place of unity or family. We don't even accept each other as family. Remember, you can't choose your family, but you can choose your relatives who you relate with. So, with that being said, saying to you, you've got to be able to recognize when ego is speaking. You've got to be able to recognize when someone cannot humble themselves. You've got to be able to recognize that even though you've given them solid information and truth to rebut the misinformation, and they still go down another road of misleading, it's their ego. It's their ego that will not allow them to be humble. And you have to be humble. The prophet handled in his words of wisdom to us. He said, I have given you enough information to save an entire nation. Just go out and save yourself. And so that's what I would say to them. But I also know that it's hard for them to operate from that ego to change their direction, even when the light of truth shines on them. So if the light hasn't shined enough on them yet, that's how dark they are. And that's how long, it'll take a little longer for that marvelous light to expose them. It'll take a little longer, people, but it's going to go down. It's going to happen. The lawlessness will have to be exposed, and they will expose themselves so that you can recognize it. And this is why you have to know what is and what is not. You have to know what the law is in this topic here. That you're the law manifested in the flesh. You will have to know that so that you can tell when the exposure comes, because it's here. It's always been, but it's really here. Those who continue to seem to be gaining, gaining strength in the falsehood and the lawlessness and the slander and all that, that's because that's just how deep their darkness and wickedness goes. It's just take a little bit longer. The same goes for when you go to want to cleanse yourself or fast. And if you read the book of the Essenes 1, where the people came to Yahshua and said, I need to cleanse myself of all the things that, they were doing that, you call sin or ignorance or food that they were eating or whatever. And, he said, y'all, do this for 7 days. You can do the sun bath. That's the sun. The fire bath is the sun. You can do the water bath in the water, You can do an air bath in the oil. You can do the butt bath, mixing the earth with the water and put your feet in it. You can do however way you want to. You can do an animal. Hang the gird up from the tree. I mean, back then, that's how they showed you on an angle. He said, okay, this is all things but you got to do it for 7 days. 7 days. And you shall be cleansed. And then people came back and said, oh, Lord, I did it for 7 days, Yahshua, but look at my feet. Look at my feet. I can barely walk on them. And he said, oh, you got to do another 7 days for all the sin and all the bad stuff you've eaten, done, and or, done in your life. I guess you need 7 more because we all know that toxins come out of the bottom of the feet. All right? That's one way that it expels out of your body, right? So then Yahshua said, this is in the book of the scenes that I'm saying to you, speaking to you yourself. He said, all right, then, that's when he told him, go over there where the water meets the earth, or the earth meets the water. That would be mud. Stick your feet in there. Do that. You got a 7-day mud bath. Takes you a little longer. And he went and told him, he said, you've done some really bad things. Matter of fact, you were graced with your family. You had a date. You had it going on. But instead, you wanted to piss it away, follow it away, gamble it away, and do nothing because you were great. Your father, the state, your mother, you had it going on, and here you're the one coming to me, and you can't get cleansed in 7 days. Oh, you done some wicked stuff, yeah. You done a lot of stuff. So it takes a little longer to cleanse it. Still based in the principle of 7, though. That's a fact. So the same goes for these people who are exposing their lawlessness, slander and stuff, and hatred and stuff. Might take them a little longer for that light to expose them fully. But it's coming. Oh, it's coming, because that's where it's at. Transparency for real. The light, the marvelous light. In the meantime, I say, and I repeat and I conclude, you have been given enough information to save an entire nation. Go out and save yourself. If you are looking for your Savior, it is within. And conversely, if you're looking for your devil, as you would call it, guess what? That's within too. The choice is yours. The will is yours. Don't let ego get in the way of that, because it'll murder you. You see, your soul can murder, or the body can murder the soul. So, the spirit animates it, but the body can murder it. So these are your choices. Now, once you go out and save yourself, and I go out and save myself, and brother over there goes out and saves himself, sister over there goes out and saves herself, everybody saving themselves, then we are all on one accord in the same direction. That's probably the most to be said. So that means that if you know what it is, be it. Be about it. It's not just about proclaiming it. It's about, people say, well, I proclaim, now what? Start being who you say you are. Oh, yeah, it might require a little bit of study. Let's start first. That's how it goes. So, you have been gifted. Been gifted. Long time ago. And we're just reiterating it. That's all. Enough information to save an entire nation. Get to stepping and save yourself. It's love. I don't have a call with me because my girl isn't riding with me today. But at this point, I want to know if anybody has any questions or comments to press 1 on their telephone dial, and I will open them up to the mic. Oh, there is someone. A couple of hands up. Let's see. In order that they have been awaiting. So, caller 320-309. You're live on the air. Do you have a question or a comment?
Islam family.
Islam.
And Yanni RVBey from Minnesota Territory, near the Corporation of St. Cloud. I just want to say peace and love to you, Sister Mariah. I send my heart and blessings out to Sister Anahita L. and everybody that was with her. I thank Allah that they're safe and sound. Sister Mariah, you always give us clarifications on the basic concepts of who is who and what is what, and about knowing the difference between something that is colorable as opposed to supreme law of the land. And a couple of things I would like to add is that a few months ago in Utah, there was a nurse that got arrested because she was protecting her patient. The policy enforcer wanted to draw blood from the patient that was in care of the hospital, and she refused to give access, so he arrested her. To make a long story short, in the end, the policy enforcer was let go, and the prosecutor was considering charges because they found that he was acting colorably.
Thank you. I was going to say, I don't need to say it. Who was he? What authority did he have? Right.
He was acting colorably. The reason I'm bringing this up, this is to bolster and qualify what you always say in the forums about being able to identify and understand what color of law is. You know.
Right.
And situations like this, and there are many situations like these that aren't in the media. This happens systemically. But this was one that was in the media, and they said publicly that the officer may have been, or the policy enforcer, I won't call them officers, but he may have been acting colorably.
He was acting colorably.
Because there was no law involved. He violated the law. He just making it up as he goes along. You know.
Or
and
he is. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
No, because I'm trying to find the definition of color of law. Anybody can find it. Just go look it up in the law book. Same with Clark. Yeah.
When you were talking about the Southern Poverty Law Center and how the FBI, which, mind you, is just another corporation, but even they sort of kind of distance themselves from what Southern Poverty Law Center is saying. And so for all the Moors out there, what does this mean? What this means is you can now have cause for injury to slander and libel against your character because the FBI have gave you clarification.
Yes.
Understand
they
that?
Always do. Right.
You have cause.
But yes, There's no really but there. No, there's a however. If you are not knowing the law and enforcing it, and enforcing, procedures and policies that don't even apply to you, especially if you've declared your status, which is your relationship to the community, right, which is also a legal relationship, it doesn't apply to you. It never did. But people are spending their time in that and researching that and trying to use that against a violation of your rights and your liberty. It's not going to work because you just said it. Color of law. Mm-hmm.
I'm a truck driver, and I was down in one of those southern states, and down in the southern states, when you're going down a back road, they periodically will pull you over and they want to test your fuel to see if you're not using off-road fuel to avoid paying taxes or whatever. So, guy pulls me over. This is what he says. He says, I need your driver's license, your CDL, and your Social Security number. I said, my Social Security number? I said, why do you need my Social Security number? He said, because we need to make sure it identifies you. I said, but that's not identification. And if you want my Social Security number, what benefit are you offering me in exchange for that Social Security number? What do you supply? What benefits do you offer that require me to give you my Social Security number? Because that's not going to happen. And so he says, he just kept insisting. I said, look, you can insist all day long, but I am not giving you my private information. Mm-hmm. That's not going to happen. And so there's something you said a long time ago about being able to identify when people are acting colorably, that it's nothing but a bluff through intimidation. Now, mind you, I'm not getting confrontational with this person. I'm speaking to him like I'm speaking to you. But I'm asking him.
Intelligent tone. Can you please make a note that you're speaking in intelligent tone? Go ahead.
And I'm challenging what he purports to be his reason for doing this inspection. And the thing about that, Sister Ross, when you ask these questions, just simple questions, you will find that a lot of these employees cannot substantiate their actions with a competent answer.
Exactly.
They cannot supply you with a competent answer. Why? Because either they're going to quote you a statute or a code, which is of no consequence to us. We're concerned with the law. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're just talking about the law of the land. And when they can't do that, they begin to make up things as they go along.
And they're trained. They're only trained. They're not trained in law. They're trained in policy, which then lets you know what? It lets you know that that's what they're operating from. But the law of the land governs all, including their corporate activities, from infringing on you, the natural people's rights and liberties. It's right there. It's right there. So when they do quote those codes or whatever, you have to know that does not apply to you. Not because, some people say, yeah, I'm more, so therefore. No. This is serious talk here, serious stuff here. You got to know, when you're going to break something down and understand something, you got to break down all the components. And this is why you have to know these things. So they're talking about some policies, procedures that apply to those who are members/citizens of whatever that corporation is. Then I ain't talking about this. That's
right.
That's what the whole declaring and proclaiming is about, for your standing. And then you got to stand on that. You can't proclaim and declare that you are a natural flesh and blood being, right? Proper person, etc., like that, and then start delving into commercial policies and procedures to defend that. That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also,
Yeah.
Sister Roz, you were talking a little in depth about writs earlier. A lot of times we have to get into the habit of reading extensively, and not just in quote unquote the issues we run into with these municipal corporations and policies enforced, but reading in general. Because when I opened up a bank account, they give you this brochure with all of the natures of the terms of the agreement of the contract, and I read it. I take it home and read it. It is tedious. It is boring. And most people will simply throw that in trash because all they're concerned about is opening that bank account. Unbeknownst to the public, the vast majority of the public, against these savings and loans institutions, there are always class action suits against them. Why? Because a lot of them took the time to read the nature of the terms of the agreement with this account, and they see that the bank isn't honoring their own agreement.
Right. Exactly.
It's like the carrier to the cell phone that I'm using. They're in a class action lawsuit every week because people read the terms. And they see that they're being violated, and they go after them with their own literature. And the reason I bring up these two instances is because the municipal corporation, the state corporation, they're no different. They have a litany of statutes and codes they themselves violate daily.
Yeah, because see, they're really after. They're really, and then I'm gonna have to end because there's a couple more people. Stay on the line now. There's a couple more people who have their hands up. But see, they're really after. They're quotes on one thing, and people are duped. Have been duped to think that that's the government, that's the law. And they're really on this other hand, they're just figuring out how can we exact finances and steal property from the people because they're thieves, and that's really what's going on. So they'll violate their own stuff, but the real reason why they do that is for what you just laid on the table here. It's because they know the people have no knowledge, that they don't read anything and they sign anything, and that they don't even know the own law that protects them. Again, the people don't know the law that protects their rights against them being the corporations that are out to infringe upon them. They know the people don't know that, but what's happening now is people are knowing it. So what it is, and that was one last thing I didn't mention, what it is they're trying to get people to just be under that jurisdiction, to agree to all of those policies and procedures, because they know they really don't know, and they're scrambling around to try to, knowing something's wrong. So they're trying to get them all into this pile. They know that they still don't really know their rights or their liberties or anything like that, because if they did, they would know better than to join up. And that's why you also have some of our Moors wearing churches and feds that are getting people to, in fact, become members of, as an example, the U.S.A, which is just a corporation. While on the other hand, everybody is denouncing citizenship. Many people are denouncing citizenship from it for that very reason, because of the corporation. So, you know what I mean? We got to be able to see what's going on, and because everybody's trying to eat you, turn you into a carcass so that they can eat you. You and everything you got. Brother, I really appreciate your call, and again, if anybody wants to use the call for the family. All right. Love you. Thank you. All right, peace. Mm-hmm. And so the next caller would be 973-280. You're live on the air. What's your question or comment?
Islam. Greetings, Sister Roz. Carol. Northwest Morocco. and I send all my love and energy to and Sister Anna L. But the son who just got off the phone, he touched on so many things that that I was going to speak on. But I want to share two things. You spoke about the Social Security. Now I'm at that age, right? So now that I know what I know and I know who is who, because as you stated, it is so important to know who is who and what is what, you know. And I had my attitude is like, it's an insurance policy this corporation took when I was in the workforce. I didn't ask for it. It wasn't, the information wasn't put up front about that I had a choice to use it or not. So I went in there with the Moorish, my Moorbite mindset, and knowing that they were employees of a corporation and who I am and what I'm entitled to. I said, I'm here to cash in my insurance policy. But anyway, what I did, you were so right about the writs. I had written a writ, sent it to the commissioner of the company before I even went, and then, you know, made sure they got it, had the certification number, went down. I really did. When you speak in an intelligent tone, you do get a favorable reply. And the young lady, she was so baffled because that Nandagear name, I told her I'm the lawful representative of that, and she just, because she's like, I got to go see my supervisor. She came back, no problem, because I had a copy of the writ that I sent to the commissioner, and I tell you, it was really interesting. And then she, you know, she tried with a few questions to, and I asked her, I said, are you trying to denationalize me? You know, she looked at me. It was very interesting. So, but you know, everything turned out. But that was my attitude, and because all the time that I had put in that work, and that was an insurance bond, I was there to collect it, and I didn't want no. I mean, it was, and that's what I did, and I got, like I said, a favorable, and I made sure everything was in writing. And you're so correct about putting these writs together, using the proper language, because I stood on the Constitution, my birthrights, and the Constitution. Everything in that writ, and I addressed them as the corporations they are. And she made a comment about, well, you know, if you lose this card, it's very important. I said, that applies to you. I said, you're an employee of this federal government, this company here. I said, Social Security applies to you. I said, if that was up front in the beginning, I would have never participated in it. She gave me this strange look. I wasn't nasty. I was pleasant, but I was firm. So anyway, you know, things turned out all right. I just wanted to make sure I had everything in writing. But too, the other day I had a problem with something I purchased, so I called the company, and I spoke to a young man. I asked him, I said, "Where are you calling?" He was from our family across the water. Oh my goodness, I can't even think of it. No, the Philippines. Right, and his last appellation was Moor. So we got in a nice little conversation about, you know, the Moors and what have you, and how it was family war. And then I had a gentleman come to the house yesterday, and I said, what's your nationality? So he said to me, African. I looked at him, I'm like, African? I said, whoa, that's interesting. That's not a national. But I know how a lot of our sisters and brothers relate to us, because when they come here, they deal with so many so-called black-minded people. But I said, that's not a nationality. I said, that's not even the true name of our land. So then he said to me, Ivory Coast. I said, oh, interesting. I said, that's okay, geographical area. But I could see he probably thought I was just, you know, he didn't trust me enough to think. I said, look, well, I'm a national here. I'm a Moorish American. That I know. That's why I asked you. And I, you know, but his whole reaction was like, I don't know, she might be playing games with me or trying to get me jammed up or something. But that was interesting. But Sister Rob, I just wanted to share that everything you touched on today was so right on, and it is so important. Like you said, we have to study. We have to use correct terminology from a lawful perspective, and not only that, but even ourselves. Because when you speak certain words, I feel different vibrations. I truly feel different. And my daughter, she gets so irritated because when she'll say kid, not correct, I just say child. You know, I'm not corrected, but as soon as she say kid, I counter it with child, no matter who I speak to. She's like, Mom, stop trying to correct. I'm not correcting you.
Anna Eve made another observation, because remember, as we come into this and rise, they go into think tanks too, and they do everything they do is on assumptions. Everything they do is on assumptions. And she was saying that the word child could mean a child of a corporation. So be very careful to the mothers when they're talking about say baby, my baby or whatever, because they'll see, everything they do is assumption, and especially as start with that birth certificate, they assume that they have jurisdiction over you because of that certificate, which is what proves human trafficking. And we, instead of asking them, well, how do you have jurisdiction, and letting them put the birth certificate on the table, we go and authenticate it. Well, we think we're authenticating because, a record is a record, a certificate is a certificate, and they never give you the live actual record. You're only going to get a copy of whatever, so therefore it's not the original. But what we do is we go get it and we bring it in because somebody said that's the process. What we just did was we didn't afford them the opportunity to answer how they have jurisdiction. We jumped the gun and gave, and so we know they're assuming it, but we are going right along with the assumption. Because if they put the birth certificate on the table, if you ask the question how they think they have jurisdiction, then that means they just admitted on the record to human trafficking. So they're not going to do it. And so in our ignorance, we go do it for them. And they're like, okay, let's roll, So I was just going to correct you on, I'm not correct you, but make known that when
the child,
even though kidnapping, if you listen to the Circle of Readers where we're reading the White Cargo book, So yes, exactly. All right,
and one more thing I just want to share too. Especially new people coming into this, they need to get Othello's Children in the New World by what's his name? Jose Pacent. I can't pronounce his last name. Bey. Yeah, Bey.
Yeah.
This is, everything. This Othello's Children in the New World. I'm telling you, everything that's in the Circle 7. What he's doing is verifying, and he's done all the legwork for you because he has all the references in the footnotes. So anyone that's too lazy to verify, he has it all, and it's like everything Noble Drew Ali brought us. He speaks about the MSD as well, and Noble Drew Ali in here, and then all the stuff it was always in our face. We just had to read it. These modern Europeans definitely know who we are. It's on record. It's in books. I just wanted to share that, but it's excellent.
Well, thank you. Maybe that's a book that we'll look at and have Anna Eve look at to see if there's something that we may want to read and dedicate it to the youth. Yeah, to the generation. Because remember, this is about civics for the rising generation. So maybe, right now we'll recommend the book. Thank you, Othello's Children in the New World. That's by Jose Clemente Bey.
Yes.
Yeah. He does some great work. So we'll look into that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Islam and peace and love to the family. Okay.
Same to you. All right. We have so we now have 510-334. You're live on the air.
Islam. I am Anthony Bey of Morocco.
Oh, peace.
Peace. I looked up the definition for color of law. I don't know if you want me to read it or if you just want to.
No, that would be great. No, that would be great because thank you.
Color of law, the appearance or semblance without the substance of legal right. And it gives the case law
Stop
for
right there.
state.
Can you stop right there?
Okay.
Can you stop right there?
Yes.
Can you repeat that again? Say that again.
Yes,
This is the definition of color of law, correct?
Yes, it is.
Or color. Okay, color of law. Go ahead. Repeat that again.
Color of law.
Mm-hmm.
The appearance or The appearance or semblance without semblance without the substance of legal right.
Damn, I think that says it all. Keep going.
Yeah, and then underneath there it says color of office. Indeed, another one. I don't know.
Yes,
and that one says, and
there's a whole.
Color of office.
Are you there?
I am.
You're kind of breaking up.
Can you hear?
You're kind of breaking up. Yes, I can hear you now. Go ahead, and you're reading. You're going to read the color of office. So go ahead. Let's see if you sound all right.
Color of office. An act unjustly done by the continuance of an office or continuance of an office being grounded upon corruption, to which the office is as a shadow and color. Let me read that again. It says color of office, an act unjustly done by the continuance of an office being grounded upon corruption, to which the office is as a shadow and color.
Wow. So as the office, the corruption comes out of the office that is a shadow and is color. And we already said color is the semblance of that which is appearing to be law, but it has no substance. So there's some more under there too. There's color of law, color of office. Now what I find, I think there's some more. Say it again.
There's color of authority, yes. Color of law, color of office, yes.
Color of authority. That would be what that policy enforcer that the brother just shared with us would have been under, and which is why they said he acted in color, because he was acting as he had an authority, but he was really color of authority. Read that one, please.
Yes. A color of authority. That semblance or presumption of authority sustaining the act of a public office, which is derived from his apparent title to the office or from a writ or other process in his hands apparently valid and regular. I have to read that again. It says color of authority. That semblance or presumption of authority sustaining the acts of a public officer, which is derived from his apparent title to the office or from a writ or other process in his hand, apparently valid and regular.
Did
you get that?
From a writ, I got that. I'm just saying, let's go in a little bit on that. Says from a writ in his hand, apparently valid, but it's not, right? Right? That's what it's saying, right?
It said apparently valid, and then it goes into a case law. But
yeah, right. But I'm saying
not.
with just no. It says apparently valid. It's coming from a color of office. Okay. It says a writ in his hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently valid. Apparently valid, right?
Yes.
All right. Let's give a great example. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
A great example of a writ, which remember I told you a writ is anything written in their hands. And let's touch a little bit on a warrant, a so-called warrant that they say. In the Constitution, what does it? It tells you what a warrant is. Only either a arrest warrant or a search warrant, and either one of them must be with a raised seal of a judge. That means, pursuant to Article 3, a judge, not a magistrate in these municipals. And it must be, in the Constitution, it tells you it must be accompanied or attached with, well, it says accompanied with a affidavit, right? That's what it says as far as describing what a warrant is. Why? Because the affidavit that is accompanied would have to be from the original accuser and complainant, which will be their complaint against you to even initiate and investigation, which is always lacking as well, from these apparently valid pieces of paper in their hand. You following me? So, so that, right, because there's an investigation that has to go in, and then, they investigate. So you have to know that there's even an investigation before any type of warrant would be sent out, or arrest warrant or search warrant. But it has to come from an original accuser or a complainant, because there has to be an injured party in the first place that makes such a complaint. That's what's attached to it, and attached with a raised seal of a judicial authority. For real, that is what a warrant is. Now, what is this stuff that's in their hand that is apparently valid? From a municipality. That would be a municipal warrant, right? Coming from the municipality, correct? Right?
If they even do that, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, they do. Sometimes they don't even come with that. You're right. They just say, we got a warrant, and they don't have one. Well, they really never do have one. But if it was issued from or coming from their computers at the municipal, it is then a municipal warrant, right? Because it certainly isn't that which is described as a warrant in Article 4 of the Constitution. But so it's a municipal warrant. So now you look up municipal warrant and you find out what? In Black's Law, that a municipal warrant is a bill of attainder or bill of exchange. Then you go back to your Constitution, Article 1, Section 9 and 10, 9 for Congress, 10 for states, or is it 9 for states and 10 for Congress? What does it say that they cannot do? They cannot issue any bills of attainder or bills of exchange. Do you see the correlation?
I do.
All right. You see? So now we go back to the issue of color of law, color of office, color of authority. That's what they're working on.
Oh. Yeah. There's something else that I came across. It is. There's something else I came across. Hate to say I was watching something on citizenship versus United States citizen. And they were quick to say that a U.S. citizen is a slave, and then they wanted to quickly jump to American national by using a passport and applying for it. They don't tell you that that's an option, and so you can use the. They were alluding that you can use the American. It's the U.S. passport, but say on their American national, and then it pops up on their screen that do not detain, don't do anything like that, and they're free to pass. I haven't done the research to even, but I've heard that before on different occasions about we are the American national.
Right. Who would be issuing? You're talking about a passport, right? Having
right.
American national. Okay, so who would be issuing this passport?
The same office that issued the U.S. citizen one. But he was saying, he was trying to allude to that before, I guess in the 1930s, you had an option to check whether you wanted to apply for U.S. citizenship or state citizenship. But then there's also an option to apply for as an American national. But I'll just stop there because...
yeah, I understand, because you want to look into that and see what that is, American national. All right, but that is never what has ever been put before the people as an option. So you know what? You look into that, because I'm with you. I'm going to stop there on that. Because I don't know, but it sounds rather interesting. Now, we also know that passports are for ships to passports. So what we have to operate under, and maybe in that is something totally different, which is why they don't disclose it, is the right to travel, which is substantive over land, air, and sea, that would be what the premise or the foundation of the national, which it ought to be, is. So why don't you look into that and get back to us, and we'll try to see what we can look into it too and find out what that is all about. All right, and all right. All right, that sounds wonderful. Is there anything else you would like to add? Yeah.
Yes, as a matter of fact. One, I remember one of the classes we said that if they tow your conveyance, we could report them to either the Department of Transportation or either use Title 49, and embedded in Title 49, there's recourse we can take if they violate you in that sense.
All right.
Am I going down the right road to counter that?
You are. So what that means is this, because we have to really attack this right to travel issue, because that is the strictest sense of our liberty to go to and fro as we wish to without restriction. So this is important. However, the driver's license instrument, they're using that fraudulently to, in fact, restrict our liberty to move to and fro, which is a substantive right, all right? And they're doing it fraudulently, and they know because we don't know. So the Department of Transportation devised the driver's license instrument and public safety, et cetera, like that program. This is what you need to know. And that was then, they then allowed the states participate in it. But the states then contract out. All right. But Title 49, USC Title 49, is the program that they are supposed to be administering. And in that Title 49 program that they're allowed to participate in and get federal funds to participate in, you will find nowhere in there is there any place or circumstance for anybody to be arrested at all. And you will find that the only reasons to have a car towed is if it's impeding the high traffic, the moving and flow of traffic, or if it has been abandoned, and even upon clearly, obviously abandoned, and even upon that a notice has to be placed on the car for it's either 24 or 48 hours before it can be towed. So with that being said, these contractors, municipalities, and their policy enforcers or their employees are corrupting under color of office the process because of one reason, for them to extract finance. For the other reason is because they know that you and I have not read Title 49 to even know what the program is that they're administering. So now, how deep does it go? So they then, since there's federal funds being issued to the states to participate, and the states then contracting out, they then, the contractors, the municipalities, they're sending false reports to the Department of Transportation, probably via a chain of a report to the state and the state to the Department of Transportation, right? They're sending fraudulent reports that reflect, look at all of these people we have to give tickets to that are drivers. So you're not a driver if you're a traveler, right? Because a driver means someone who is literally behind the wheel. Guess what? The program, the federal program, scribed out in Title 49, is for drivers only. Those who are getting paid to be behind the wheel. Do you follow? And in their defines, they call the conveyance that you're in, once you subscribe to this program and get the license, because you're going to be carrying cargo, passengers, etc., and you're regulated with that under this program, Title 49, they call the conveyance a motor vehicle. So you can't call your conveyance a motor vehicle. Words is the key. Oh, well, you're in a motor vehicle. No, I'm not. I'm in my automobile or my private conveyance or my land conveyance, whatever like that. But so the term vehicle is used in that program. So they've messed it all up. Come to the high schools at high school level, told everybody they have to have a driver's license when they do not. You following?
I do. So
You
once
do.
that's violated.
So with that,
once
that's violated, the problem is the Department of Transportation and also even the Justice Department, they don't know that the people are being violated, not because maybe they don't know, cannot act on jack, until it is what? Back to our conversation today. Written down. You have to write to expose that. And what it does is expose the fraud and the corruption that has been going on in written evidence. Back to why you have to write the writ. You have to know what you're saying and doing. And I know that you are capable of that and you're following what I'm saying. If you do, when you do, for instance, if the car was towed, if you write to in Title 49, if they tow your car unlawfully, right, the Department of Transportation secretary is who you write to, has to compensate you for your car, for your automobile. Yes, that's in Title 49. That means they made a mistake and told you and they should not have. You know what I'm saying? So you're on the right track. But if you don't know Title 49, so you can tell when these things are incorrect and don't know that this is what is really going on. Now, what's happening now is because many people, it doesn't matter what type of citizen they are, even modern Europeans, it doesn't matter, are writing and suing, right, and making claims against them for these things. The Department of Transportation is threatening to pull the program from the state. The states are now throwing the municipalities, their contractors, under the bus. This is what's really happening, but we are not clear to see it. So now what happens is these municipalities, it's being exposed that they're rogue because they've always been rogue. But they said they were the law. And this is why when they write you the ticket and they give you the so-called charging documents, it says what? The state versus you. Because they're acting as if they're acting under the program that they were contracted to with the state, which is the program that the state is getting paid for and getting financed from the Department of Transportation. That's what they're acting as. But they are really corrupting that and beating the people down for that, talking about you got to have a license in order to drive in the state of Minnesota or whatever it is, when that's not true at all. You have to have the license if you're going to be behind the wheel getting paid to carry cargo, goods, or passengers. But I am traveling, and I don't have to have that. So I'm telling you how cunning they are. They decided on a municipal level, because remember, the people think they're law, they think they're government, and have for generations, to come into the schools at an early age and convince the people that they all need to have this driver's license instrument. Now, Uber, here's what is being exposed. Uber, for instance, and some other ones they have out there, they are using that instrument for what it's used for. What does that mean? That means it's exposing, or should expose to the people, what purpose is the municipality involved in this act? Why is the municipality supposed to be, the city hall or whatever, involved in the driver's license, period? So the exposure is showing you what it's really for, but it's always been there, but still. You follow what I'm saying? So now everything's being exposed. They're showing that they're rogue. Now, Title 18 comes alive. Really alive. Title 18, Chapter 2, Section 241, 242?
42, yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. When two or more go on a highway in costume, in disguise, you know? They're literally telling you that's the municipalities, what you call policemen. Those are the 2 or more on the highway in disguise.
And then the tow company, too. The tow company that towed your car.
They're colluding with them because they make it look like, it's authentic through the Department of Transportation driver's license program that this car needs to be towed. So their tow company's like, okay, they contracted in to do the towing, right? Right. I'm telling you, this is how deep the rabbit hole goes, but with a little study and knowledge of what's going on, you can already see what it is that you can do, right? And once you get them involved, the Department of Transportation, the Secretary of Department, and see, this is the important thing is that, and I'm glad this came up, people need to know that the Justice Department and the Federal Management Department, they will put stuff out to try to save you all the time. Just like with when I read USC 1028, where they said that in the absence of a national ID, what has been commonly accepted is the driver's license and the birth certificate, the SSN, and all that. That's right. They put lifelines out for us, but because we're steeped in mental conditioning and steeped in thinking that the answer is commerce, when that's what these people are doing, trying to make commerce out of you. So you cannot find remedy in that, period, right? So they put it out there all the time. It's there. So now you're on the right track, and you need to, when you do right, know, even with what they say they're implementing. I actually had someone tell me that they got stopped in person in the policy enforcement. I don't remember who, when, where. Said, oh, yeah, well, our authority is Title 49. I said, they actually told you that? Well, guess what? They didn't read Title 49 themselves. They was just an employee. And somebody said, tell them it's Title 49, because now the people will read Title 49 and recognize what they're doing wrong. And everybody's getting thrown under the bus. Everybody's getting exposed. And this is really a great time to take your place. It really is. But you can't if you don't have the knowledge.
Islam.
Islam.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It is, because this thing is getting, it's going down already. That's why you got some Moors wearing turbans and feathers trying to get you to become citizens of the U.S.A, because other people, especially modern Europeans, are denouncing their citizenship / membership to them. So now they need to have more numbers, and so they're going after, the unknowing Moors with agents that are Moors, and having them bring you in and corral you in to be a citizen of the U.S.A. It's the same thing as when, I forgot what president was it, who was it? Hoover, one of them. They said, giving the people back Islam now is like putting the pants on a horse. Well, we're in the same place right now with with understanding that you're a national. Yeah, you got to remember. Yeah, that was a true statement that was made. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Like putting pants on a horse.
By us putting our nationality on the record, are we maybe reiterating? Are we saying that we are not U.S. citizens by declaring our nationality? We are saying that for sure. So we're doing the same thing, and that's the modern Europeans are doing. Like Zuckerberg, for instance, when he said, "I'm out of here. I'm gonna go with my my wife's citizenship, Switzerland."
Right. Yes, and if you take notice, our papers say Aboriginal and Indigenous, right? Which totally means that no modern European can step into that place, because I'm glad you brought this up. We need to be real clear here, Anthony, about the fact that Aboriginal is some people say, oh, that's abnormal. No, it doesn't mean that in that wording. The ab is coming down from the spirit, manifested in the flesh, original man, all right? And so we're aboriginal to the land, tied to the land. However, if you're aboriginal, you're automatically indigenous. But, this is important, if you're indigenous, it doesn't mean you're aboriginal. So you find a lot of people saying indigenous, and yeah, that's true. and a lot of modern kids trying to use that terminology, indigenous, as well, right? But they're not Aboriginal. We've got to hold on to that and know they know they can never, ever, ever on any four corners of this earth take that claim of Aboriginal. That's why when you look up what the true American is, it doesn't say modern European. It doesn't even say indigenous. It doesn't say Indian. It says the various copper tone people, Aboriginal copper tone people found on the continent by the Europeans. You see what I'm saying? Doesn't say native, doesn't say indigenous, it says Aboriginal. And that's the position that cannot be trumped by anyone.
That's interesting because I was having a conversation where Moor was trying to tell me if we use ab, it means opposite, like not.
No.
No. That's what he was trying to convince me.
Yes, they're confusing the use of ab in most places like abnormal with the meaning and use and source of aboriginal and as far as the aboriginal being. Brother Abdullah Utali RVBey, he breaks that down as an etymologist, and he's done that on many classes. So, yeah, they're confusing that. They're not looking further and studying further into it. All right, and that's why, like I said, it says the Aboriginal, various copper-tone Aboriginal people found, and then that word itself, and that means separated from or opposite of. No, they're in the wrong. They're going in the wrong direction with that. Don't let them take that away from you. Mm-hmm.
He was just saying, just say original. His comment was just saying, just say original. The ab. Just say original, and I didn't like it either.
Well, you know, original, like, what are we talking? Man is mind. So, you know, in the spirit, it's not the body. So, the original, where's the original? You know, you got to come down from, which is what ab means in that text. It means ab-original, meaning coming down from the spirit, man, into the flesh, onto the land. You have dominion over if you're in a state. So he can say original man if he wants to, but in law, it's aboriginal. That's what it is. We always want to do something else other than, like, we want to study other stuff and other, like someone said, I've studied my UCC law. There is no UCC law. They're codes, Uniform Commercial Codes, not law. Get it straight. And you know, and instead of actually studying the law, we want to study everything else. So now we don't want to be aboriginal. We're just going to be original. I mean, you know, it has a distinctive meaning and purpose. You know, we're always trying to find something else instead of, and the most thing is we always want to study a bunch of other stuff and apply these See, we want to apply processes because we think we want to get an immediate relief or something like that. You know what I mean? Not realizing that it doesn't work that way. Because all that is temporary. All that is temporary. So, with that, if there's nothing else you want to add, and I have no other callers, and so it's time to close out because it's like 3:45. I trust you. Now, I will say again that Sister Annie Eid has had a choir. She's good. Her family's good. And if anybody wants to send us some love or any type of contribution or whatever, they can to the same location, care of 141 Weston Street, number 1145, Hartford, Connecticut, 06143, which is the same address where a mailing location where you send for the proclamation. And so we ask for people to be just a bit more patient as you just simply relocate. And with that, I guess it's time for us to end the show, brother. I really always appreciate your work. Get back to us about what you find out about the American National that they did on the form for travel.
I will. Islam. Much love. And could we do something? Could we also send contribution through PayPal at all, or is that we just send it straight to the address?
Actually, if you wanted to, I told her that if anybody wanted to send to PayPal, you could send it to RVBey Publications, but just put in a note that it's for her, and I'll make sure she gets it. You can.
Okay.
All right?
Okay. Much love.
Thank you.
Much love. Peace and love. Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Peace and love. All right, everybody. Having a lovely Thanksgiving. Give thanks. Give thanks all the time. And that didn't really get into that discussion. But Tuesday, we'll be back here on Tuesday so we can talk about Thanksgiving at that time, or giving thanks. With that, I am going to close out the show, the broadcast, and I am not sure whether the music will come on automatic, so just be patient and have a wonderful, wonderful life from this point on. First day of the rest of your life. Islam, peace, and love.